Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails. Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Hello and welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 3. Today we're going to be talking with Tara Warren, who just completed her first 100-mile race in the Bear 100. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to Studio 78. As in studio always, I got Joel Hatch, and today's guest we have is Tara Warren. Tara just completed her first 100-mile trail run race, the mighty Bear 100. So, Tara, thank you for joining us today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Now, Joel and I were at the race. We had pacing duties, but we didn't get to run the whole 100-mile race. So the first thing, I'm going to just break right into this. Why did you pick the Bear for your first 100-mile race?
Well, you guys know my husband, Bryce Warren.
Yeah, Utah legend.
Yeah, the legend. This was his 6th Bear, and I've been up there for most of those years crewing and being around the scene and really enjoyed it and just kind of got all excited about last year as I've been running more and thought maybe I could pull it off this year and thought I'd give it a whirl. So got all signed up this past spring and jumped right in. So
the build up to the Bear, you say you signed up and jumped right in. Did you have races building up to the Bear, or are you just training?
Probably more training. I did a couple smaller races just to kind of test my feet and check out my nutrition and see what worked and what wasn't working. I did a bunch of smaller races, 25K and I think it was like a 9K. I don't know if you can count a 9K as a training race for an ultra, but did a bunch of those, and I did squaw back in May, and that was really good. And yeah, I felt ready, felt good.
Well, squaw's a 50-mile, and that's a tough race, and it's in June, and it's in Utah, so it can get warm. So that's a good test of a race. Now, so you did those races, and you said you tested your feet and your nutrition. So you were 100% dialed in, right?
Well, I thought. You always think, right? Like, I try to be as confident as I can, and yeah, so I thought I was all dialed in. And probably still think I do, or I am, but I'm not. It's always a learning process every time.
Well, the first place I saw you was Temple Fork, if I remember right. And I think when you came in, you looked great. You said you didn't feel good, but you looked great. Because I was watching people come in, because it was through the heat, where people coming into that, and they were struggling, and people, had some experiences with being off the trail and maybe, losing their stomach a little bit. But you looked good coming in. Did you feel good coming into Temple Fork?
Felt really good. Yeah, it was a real pretty part of the trail, too. So I was able to run. That's my thing. I'm a little high energy, and I really wanted to run. And so a lot of these ultras surprised me at how much hiking there is. And I'm not a hiker. I don't like to slow down. I like to go fast.
That section's super runnable. That long downhill, that service road. If you got some legs, you can really move.
Yeah, we moved.
Yeah,
we
that's
moved.
good.
And I had an awesome pacer with me at that point, and she was just great and helped me get through it, and took a good crash right before we came down there. But yeah, it was good. It was a good part of the day, and I'm not so much prone to heat problems, heat struggle. I didn't eat a lot of solid food. I kept drinking a lot of fuel, which helped a lot, I think. And that was the first time I tried that, and it worked out well for me. And I was able to just maintain where I wanted to be. And it was fun. Like, I just tried to have fun, and I was just happy to get to that point because I knew where I was. Right, that was a good place to be.
So, did you at any point in that race did you have stomach issues?
I didn't. I did not.
Wow.
I know, crazy.
So were you just going mostly with like V Fuel and gels?
I did. Yeah, I'd never tried the V Fuel powders. I think that's how you'd call that, right?
Yeah,
The V Fuel powder,
new product,
brand new
yep.
stuff. And I mean, I'm a huge Coke fan, so when they had like black cherry cola, I figured that's all kind of together, right? That kind of works.
It's
cola,
a family.
How can it not be good? And yeah, it was great. Just kind of kept doing that. Did about 3 different servings of that through the different aid stations, and it was really solid. It was really good, and just did fruit and gels, and a lot of those Otter Pops.
Nice.
Yeah.
Otter Pops were great.
Did
Yeah,
you
our-
get any solid food during, say, when you slowed down during the night?
Yes. Yeah. When we got to Tony Grove, which was about 51, 52,
Right.
yeah, I got hooked up with a couple bowls of soup and started going that way. Because you can tell, like, I'm pretty in tune with, with what my body needed. And it was just too hot to eat stuff.
So, what's your background with running? Do you have a running background, or did you just say, you know what, my husband runs, I'm going to run?
It's funny. My running background, it's kind of varied. I ran a lot in high school. I did a lot of multiple sports and dabbled in road running quite a bit. Never ran anything more than a half marathon before got into the trails. Got into trail running, I think more because of my husband was out on the trails, and we just live in such a beautiful area right here, and we just live within a mile of, about 250 miles of trails.
Yeah.
Just right in our backyard. So that was just convenient. Once I got over the fear of being worried about, getting attacked by a hobo or a snake or something like that, then I was fine. And we were just so lucky to live where we do. And so I really got into that after having my second child, and just found a great community of people and kind of stuck with it and saw who was doing what and thought, well, maybe I could try some of these different things too. And it's been great.
So, what are some of the steps you took? Briefly, we talked before we were here at 22nd Street Trailhead in Ogden, Utah, and we've got some banging music going around us. So, if you can hear that, it's just part of the ambiance of being out on the trails. But so, what did you look for advice from people? Did you just go, to Bryce, your husband, or did you kind of reach out to say, okay, well, nutrition, or how do I take care of my feet, or do I sleep? What do I use for a pack, or did you just kind of do trial and error?
A lot of trial and error. I'm a gatherer. I love gathering information from people. Sometimes I maybe pick apart people's brains too much, but I really like to gather information, and then I just kind of filter out what I think works and doesn't. And sometimes I'll try it out and learn the hard way, or find out that it works, it works the first time through. And I learned some bad information, though, regards to this bear race, which I think I told you earlier, Eric. Is that something I should share, perhaps?
Absolutely. Let's hear 3. I want to hear 3 good bits of information that worked for you, and let's hear a couple that didn't work for you.
Okay, 3 good bits. And I don't know if I should give them proper credit or not for who said what, but basically the best idea I had was when I'm drinking, to drink enough water. Make sure if you're listening to music that you at least drink once every time a new song started.
Wow.
That worked great. That was
is good.
great
I like that.
information.
I've never heard that. That's a good one.
That was a lot of water, actually. I emptied my water bladder quite a bit before I got to the next aid stations, but that was great early on in the race because it was above 90 degrees, I think, out on the Bear.
Yeah.
Definitely the hottest bear I think that's ever been recorded.
That's
sure.
what people were telling. I haven't looked back at the history of it, but that's a lot what I was
I
hearing.
think it was a lot warmer than last year, and last year was the hottest bear on record.
Yeah, so there you go.
So, wow. Well, course record for the Bear.
So if you're doing that 1 sip per song, make sure you don't have all classical music on your iPod, because that might dehydrate you.
That could. Or, yeah, too many quick songs.
Yeah, you could
It's
go
true.
either way. I mean, some of those classical songs can go 10, 12 minutes.
They do.
So.
They're long.
Yeah,
Get in trouble fast that way.
it's true.
So that's one bit of information that worked.
So that was one bit of great information. The other was just to make sure I kept eating around at least 200 calories an hour in whatever form worked better. And like I already mentioned, I chose the liquid form of that, and that worked great. That was fine. And then kept eating fruit along with that. And the third bit of information was to not sit down
Nice.
Ooh, at the aid station.
at the aid stations, just to
That's
keep
good.
going. And if you had to sit down outside the aid stations, that was fine.
That's
Now you
those
do
are
that.
traps.
Now, she did sit down at Franklin at mile 60. That's where I saw you. But you were not in the tent. You were actually out by the fire, which was cold.
Yeah. The tent was warm.
The tent was so nice.
It
I was
looked
in
really
there for
nice.
a while.
Had a little fire.
Eating
Yeah,
cheese quesadillas. That
Oh,
was
those
wonderful.
were so good.
those were good.
Those
right.
were so yummy.
I think I had 4 there.
Yeah, I think I
That's
had
good.
4 while you were there, and probably about 20 more.
Jill had a quesadilla hangover.
I did. That's what I was telling Eric this morning. Full of quesadilla hangover the next day.
Hashtag that.
So
good.
what are the tidbits of information that you took that didn't work for you?
Did not work. Don't ever put Glide on your socks before you run.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
On
I
the
had-
socks or on your feet?
On the socks.
Like on the outside?
Mm-hmm. No,
Huh.
the insides.
Inside of your socks?
Yeah. That's a way bad deal. Don't do that.
Didn't work for you at
No,
all.
did not. So
Because that leaves you with like bacon feet, right?
you get bacon feet and you lose most of your skin.
Okay.
You don't get blisters, the kind that you can pop and kind of get through. It basically sloughs off large parts of your skin. And
Wow.
this is an podcast, not a visual cast, but
Oh, I
you'll
got
just have
the
to trust
camera.
me on that.
We
We'll
got a
just-
camera.
We'll just have to take some
I'm
pictures.
going to
of
get
it.
that picture from Instagram and post it on there.
There you
For
go.
sure.
Well, now, because I saw when you came into Temple, and that's when I saw it, and you were kind of looking at it, and you're like, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it didn't really hurt.
That's insane because
But-
it was bright red,
Angry red.
really red.
Pretty red.
And you just ripped some skin off, threw a couple patches on there, threw a sock on, and on
Out
you,
the
on you
door.
went.
That was crazy.
So anything else that didn't work out for you that you tried?
Ah, jeez. I can't think of much. Running did not work out a lot.
Well,
It did
at
not
first
work
it
out.
did, right? You were going
Running
pretty
worked
fast.
out great at start, but
Yeah.
that's something that as a new ultra runner, I guess I could say perhaps that I have to work on a little bit more.
So where did
Less
that
running,
start
more
happening?
hiking.
Where did you find yourself starting to slow down to just that ultra shuffle?
I would say in between probably Richards Hollow
Huh.
and the right-hand fork aid station. In between there, probably because of the height.
So going up
think-
that, so after Cowley,
Cali.
After,
After
was that what
Cali,
it's
yeah.
called?
that
Okay.
aid station where you hike up
Uh-huh.
that service road for a while, and then you
Yeah.
have that bomber downhill into right-hand fork.
Yeah, and that was where the downhill was fine with the
Yeah.
feet things happening at that moment, but
And
the going
that's
uphill,
one of the prettiest parts of the course.
yes, just gorgeous. The leaves are just popping, and the rock exposed was just awesome. So much to look at, but all I could think of was the big bacon foot going on. And, as small as those are, they start to just overpower your senses, especially when you're out there alone still.
Yeah.
And you start to kind of not doubt, but you're thinking, okay, well, if this is where we are now, and I've got 2/3 of the way still to go, what am I going to do to manage this so I can get to the end? Because I wasn't going to stop. That's just not my personality. That wasn't going to happen. I'm going to finish, but what can I do to mask the problem till I get to that point? So that was a weird place to be.
And
during
you
that.
you just mentioned it. That I think that's one of the biggest things that I take is you just said I wasn't gonna stop. I was gonna finish. Attitude, the way mentally this 100-mile, 50-mile, however you want to put it, mentally just is important or more important at times than your fitness. So when you went into the race, you had no doubt you were gonna finish.
Yeah, and you kind of say that to yourself on, and you think you mean it, and you hope you mean it. And I thought I meant it. And I kept telling myself I meant it. So I just kind of kept going with that.
Well, it worked.
I wouldn't, yeah, and it worked. It
You
worked.
got to the finish line, and
I got
that's
to the finish line.
all that matters.
So tell us a little bit about what happened at night. So how did that change for you? Being, the new 100-mile rookie,
Out there at the night,
right?
dark.
How'd that affect you?
That what's funny is I do most of my training in the dark. I have 3 kids and an ultra runner husband, and he takes the night shift running. I take the early morning shift, and so it's me and the headlamp most mornings. So the night stuff really didn't bother me. I think the strangest part though was just the sleepies.
Right,
Yeah.
just being fatigued.
That was just kind of didn't know how to put that in a compartment. I knew how I was going to feel. I knew that it was going to be dark. I had a great pacer through that section who's an experienced runner, and she got me through everything and wouldn't let me stop, wouldn't let me sit down. But we just kept it light and just kept going, and
one aid station to the next.
One aid station to the next. And then, like you brought up, what I would look forward to is just seeing everybody at the next aid station. And that really made such a big difference. And, it's kind of a social person that helped me for sure. So it didn't help. I had a really hard time because I'm not saying, I don't know if I would say I was injured, but just because I wasn't going at the pace that I wanted to, I personally had a really hard time just getting passed by hordes and hordes and hordes of people. And my pacers had to keep smacking me around to keep me focused on just me and making sure I was doing what I was doing right. But other than that, I was really struggling with people passing me. That was hard.
It's different when you come in with a competitive mindset, not necessarily with other people, but with yourself.
With yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you come in with expectations, and you come in with goals.
Your little pace sheet.
Your the little chart. Those are gems until you burn them. When I'm done, I catch them on fire and chuck them somewhere.
I don't even do them anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I will either.
I only do them for my crew, just to give them an idea, and then I just say, just keep an eye on the computer.
Yeah, that was out the window after like the first 2 hours.
But that's a huge part of it. That's another mental aspect of it. Is you've got the idea in your head, it's 100 miles and it's through the night and it's hot and I got to eat and I got to sleep, and then you're tired, and you have all these things going through. But that's a huge one, is the mentality of your own competitiveness. Because most people do, if you're doing a 100-mile race, there's a reason, whether you want to do fast or complete one or do it for somebody or whatever. And so anything that throws that mindset off, it can be hard. And you're only a few days out from the bear, so your emotions are still a bit raw, and so you're still, what do you take from that 100-mile race? What are the positives or the things you remember most about that?
Well, what do I take out of this? Well, I'll go off on a smaller, different route really quick that maybe you guys have heard of. My mom was just diagnosed with ALS like 3 months ago, and it's just amazing. A perfectly healthy person just gets randomly tapped with a disease that's devastating. I mean, there's nothing that they do. And, I'd signed up for the bear way before any of this, but, it's such a parallel actually having this type of a, scenario with my mom, and then having a 100-mile race that you want to finish. You want to get to the finish. And I was hoping to use some of that, not only to inspire me to finish, but also to inspire her to be strong through her struggles too. But other things that perhaps that I take away with, just the amazing friends I had out there. This is where I'm going to try not to get emotional.
Nobody can see you.
Nobody can see me, although the beat's coming from that.
This guy is
I might just
banging it.
Dancing,
it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime at the trailhead, and we got someone over there just grubbing some Taco Bell.
Yep.
I had just some amazing friends out there, and getting me through each of the different parts seemed to be a huge struggle. But toward the end, my final pacer, she not only pulled me up the mountain, just pulled me with her arms up the mountain. I had to hold on to her going down the mountain too, because I couldn't put one foot in front of the other. And I don't think I can ever put into words. I can't even put my mind around that yet, because it's just been too soon, about how that helped me get to the end. And then she challenged me to finish running. And that maybe something I regret looking at my feet right now, but in my heart, that was something that I'm glad I was able to, put those feet together and kind of walk through at a little bit faster pace than I was going. So,
there's a lot of people that can and will and like to do these things solo, and you hear about the debates back and forth about pacers and non-pacers. But all my experience, which again isn't vast like a lot of people's, when you have that support group around you, to me, it just means so much more. When you finish, you did that, but you had help, and it's being on both sides of the pacing, the crewing, and the running. I think it just pulls everything together, where you just kind of go, okay, I finished this race, but man, how lucky am I to have these people that would literally wait by a phone, wait by an aid station till I arrive, pick me up, not be mad at me when I start throwing up and complaining or make them wrap my bacon feet. They're there to do it.
And that indeed happened. It's true. Or just the things that you learn about one another out there in the wilderness for hours at a time in these very real life situations that you just don't, you don't get every day when you're just doing your average routine.
So what is next?
What is next? Gosh, vacation.
Yeah.
A lot of vacation.
It's banging. It's banging.
It's pretty loud here, huh? It's good. And he is
It's
out.
about to get louder as he drives by, folks.
So here's what we got going on next to us here. That's him. He's rolling in his
Ion.
Saturn Ion.
Saturn Ion.
What's next? Oh, we're just going to Hawaii. We enjoy doing that.
Kauai.
Kauai, yeah.
Nice.
Good time.
Well, that's worth it, right?
It's worth it.
Helps you get to the end. As soon as I
Yes.
finish, I can go to Kauai.
It's true.
Nice. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to sign off with Tara Warren, so we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Hydrating, and you're listening to the Trail Manners Podcast, bringing the dirt and the vert.
Okay, we are back with Tara Warren, the Bear 100-mile finisher. Tara, we like to have guests in Studio 78, and we like to do what's called the lightning round. And so
good.
I know you want to know what we're going to ask you, but we're not going to do it. We're just going to throw it at you, and you just got to answer them as they come. So Are you ready for this?
Oh, I think so.
This is a staple of the show.
Okay.
So we'll start easy, and then we'll build up. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. So what is your favorite pre-run meal?
Greek food.
Greek food.
Greek food.
Wow, that's a good one. What would your advice be to a new trail runner?
Go slow.
How about, is there a bucket list race out there that you want to do?
Hard rock.
Whoa, nice. If you could take one person throughout history that's alive, not, on a trail run, just to talk to them and ask them questions and enjoy it, who would it be?
That stumps everybody.
Frosty.
Anna Frosty?
Mm-hmm. Anna Frosty.
Oh, all right. Nice. That's a good one.
Here we go. Greenville or Asheville?
Greenville.
Whoa, I see a connection here. What is your favorite running distance?
50 mile.
50 mile?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite river?
Green.
Green.
Nice. Favorite trail in the Ogden area?
Indian.
Favorite shoes to wear?
Mafati Speeds.
Favorite shoes to wear non-running?
Choco sandals.
Because you got big
Flip-flops.
sausage feet right now? Is that why?
I've got big bacon feet.
That's all they'll fit in right now.
That's all that's going to work.
So what is the favorite trail you've ever run on? Not in Ogden, anywhere.
Oh, the Kalalau Trail
Where's that at?
in Kauai. The very western point you can go in the U.S.
And you'll be ready to run that when you get there?
Absolutely.
Nice. Winter or summer?
I can't pick fall, huh?
Nope.
I'll say winter.
Nice. Facebook or Twitter?
Or
Instagram.
Instagram, nice. So what you do Instagram stuff. This is off the lightning round. You do Instagram stuff, not just you, right? Like your Instagram handle. You have another handle.
I do. My Run with Tara.
See, so you got to follow that to see all her fun stuff. Maybe your bacon feet. Maybe some pictures of the trail in Hawaii. Right?
That's true. All the above.
Well, you survived our lightning round. You did well.
Thank you.
Let us get into it a little bit more to know you. I'm glad we got this opportunity. So I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're in a hurry. You got places to be. You are a full-time mom.
That's right.
And full-time ultra runner now too.
Woo.
So thanks for joining us. I know it's been an adventure. It's a little warm in the studio today with some outside distractions, but we made it through. So thanks for joining us, and congratulations on your first 100.
Yeah,
Great.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank Tara Warren for joining us in Studio 78. You can follow Tara on Instagram at Run with Tara. That's RunWithTara. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by our website at www.trailmanners.com. Stop by the store page for some gear, or hit us up on the contact page and let us know what you'd like to see, who you want to talk to, who you want to hear, and if you want to be on the show. Until next time, this is Eric and Joel reminding you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.